Welcome to this week's Cattle Call. And by the way, Merry Christmas to everybody. Hopefully, you are getting the opportunity to spend time with friends and family and enjoying this holiday season. And of course, eating some beef while you're doing it. Yes, this lamb producer is saying eat some beef, but we definitely want to see that going on. Keep that momentum going, especially in the week that we've had. I have been on vacation and still on vacation, but these markets are just doing amazing. And we're going to really dive into what's been happening in this market trade. Stronger than expected cash that's going on. We know we've got two shortened holiday trade weeks because of the fact we've got Christmas and New Year's. How's that going to factor in? And really, this ideal weather, is there a downfall to this that we're seeing in these? We're going to deal with that today as we enjoy this with Brad Kooima. He's with Kooima and Varlick out of Sioux Center, Iowa. So let's kick it off. Stronger than expected cash, wrapping up the trade week on a Thursday. Gotta love it.
Oh man, what a great way to finish out the week ahead of Christmas. You're absolutely right, and Merry Christmas to you too, and kudos to you too. We had a little delay here because you're busy doing what you don't have to do,
Yeah.
working for an ambulance deal. I don't know how you do it. I commend anyone like you that has that kind of a heart for others.
Thank you.
So yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on here. I think you started the week out, Susan, with well, you can't expect much. It's the holiday week, and the Packers are only going to kill 4 days, and some of that I think is almost laughable. I mean, no kidding. Christmas happens every year, right? I mean, but obviously, the buyer's going to try to leverage that into something, and he's feel a little bit of a pinch here. I think he's lost part of his margin. The poor thing, right? After making $1,400 a head. So, but the side of that deal is that river doesn't run forever. You get through part of this week now. Now, as you get into next week, now you've got a Packer that apparently is a little closer to the knife than he was letting on, and this cash market got a little bit better. So yesterday morning, there was some 135 in your state, Nebraska. I feed a few cattle in Nebraska too. I was able to get 137 yesterday. And even though I really didn't think it was that great of a sale, I thought maybe a guy should sell a pen that way just to prove that the market was a little better than what market news was reporting it to be. Now today up here, I've got some cattle up on the show list up here in Iowa, and I could have gotten 138 and decided not to. Maybe that's where two fools met, but and by a major that typically doesn't lead the way, is usually a follower. So there's some indications that this cash market's just a little better than they'd like you to think maybe it was.
You talk about that, and we were joking off the air that we always have holidays. We have these shortened weeks. This should all be expected in the trade. So why is Christmas, New Year's any different than any other holiday?
It isn't. And in fact, if you were going to have it from a kill capacity standpoint, Susan, you'd prefer that it was on a weekend like it is now. The real tough ones are like, say, a Christmas on a Thursday, or then they're tempted to go, well, we'll kill Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, can't kill it, but then you just will give them Friday and, that whole thing. So, no, you're right. And like I said to someone else, they'll probably take 4th of July off too, whatever. You can tell I'm pretty cynical when I hear a Packer complaining about how tough things are. They are not. They're windrowing it. They've never made money like this in the history of time. Heaven forbid that they'd have their margins crimped just a little bit.
So let's talk about this weather. I mean, there is some ideal weather today. 52 degrees where I'm at. They're talking 61 for tomorrow. Do you see that as a possible hurting factor for these livestock?
It is. The reality of it is good weather is allows for these cattle to grow better than expected. So yeah, I can't spin it any other way. You're going to have more tonnage, and it's going to cost you a little less to feed them, which is a good thing. But the proof is in the pudding. Average weights again this morning. Now we've got average weights. Let's see, the ones that I follow: steer and heifer carcass weights rather, average 899. Versus last week, 897, week prior, and a year ago, 894. We're actually 5-pound carcass over a year ago. Don't forget, a year ago, we were finally about now just coming out of the COVID stuff, where we were feeling like we were backlogged. So there's no question that the cattle are big, and I think it's because of the weather. I don't think that there's anybody consciously fighting the market, like you would, when you're losing $200 a head and you're fighting the market. Now these cattle make a little money here, and my experience with the producers I'm talking to, they actually are very anxious to sell cattle. It's been a long year feeding cattle, and even to the point we're trying to sell some cattle and get them on this year's business, to try to get some income on the deal. So yes, the weather is a deal, and I think now we got to, as we come out of this next weekend, there is a potential for a shift in the weather.
Right.
I'm not a weather guy, but in the longer term, the weather forecasts are less reliable. You understand that better than I do. But some of these 10 to 14 day models, there is quite a deal going on here in the Rockies. I know because I'm headed toward Colorado next week. There's a chance in some areas of up to 5 feet of snow. So if that spins down through the Panhandle in Kansas, like one suggested, path of it is, that could impact the cattle feeding region. And I'm not sure that wasn't part of the reason that this fed cattle wasn't pretty whippy today.
All right. Well, it sounds like you will be busy enjoying time with family and doing a little skiing. So we'll catch up with you in the new year.
All right. Thanks. Merry Christmas, Susan.
Merry Christmas, Brad. That's been this week's Cattle Call. As always, reminder, commodity futures and options do involve a substantial risk of loss, and they're not suitable for all investors. That's the Cattle Call. Have a Merry Christmas. I'm Susan Littlefield.